Look, losing a job is just incredibly stressful. Suddenly, you're not just worried about your next career move, you're also staring down this really intimidating mountain of state bureaucracy just to keep the lights on. It can feel completely overwhelming, but you know what? You do not have to navigate it blindly. Today, we're taking control. We're going to transform all that confusion into a clear, actionable plan. Struggling with unemployment in Utah? Get the benefits you're entitled to with our step-by-step guide. Okay, let's dive into this. This explainer is your comprehensive, detailed roadmap to filing online, avoiding those really costly mistakes, and securing the financial safety net that you've already paid into. We've done the heavy lifting and combed through all the official Utah Department of Workforce Services manuals and guidelines, just so you don't have to. So, here is our game plan for today. We're covering 1. Eligibility and prep. 2. Creating your Utah ID. 3. The online portal. 4. Timelines and mistakes. 5. Weekly eligibility. And 6. Resources and our disclaimer. All right, Section 1, Eligibility and Preparation. Think of this as our essential gear check before we start the climb. Before you even sit down at your computer, you really need to understand what the state is actually looking for. Utah requires 2 specific determinations for you to be eligible. First up is the monetary determination. Basically, the state looks at the wages you've earned over the last 18 months, they call this your base period, to see if you've earned enough to qualify. Then, second is the non-monetary determination. This simply means they need to confirm that you're unemployed through no fault of your own, like a layoff or a reduction in hours. And they need to know that you are physically able and available to work full-time. Now, to prove all of that, you need to gather your documents, and please do this absolutely before you start the application. Otherwise, the system might literally time you out while you're scrambling to find a piece of paper. Have your social security number and a valid driver's license or state ID ready to go. You'll also need a complete employer history for the last 18 months. That means business names, exact dates you worked, addresses, and phone numbers. If you served in the military, have your DD-214 handy. And finally, if you want your funds quickly, have your bank account and routing numbers ready for direct deposit. If you don't, you'll be issued a state debit card instead. Moving right along to Section 2, Creating your Utah ID. This is your very first action step. A major thing to know right off the bat is that initial claims are not taken over the phone in Utah. You absolutely must go online. So open up your browser and head over to jobs.utah.gov. Look up in the upper right-hand corner, click Sign In, and then select My Unemployment from the drop-down menu. This is going to prompt you to create a secure, unified Utah ID. Now, here's the crucial point. Setting up this Utah ID requires a valid email address. The state is going to send an activation link straight to that inbox, and you literally cannot proceed until you click it. You can use your current personal email, or hey, if you prefer to keep your job search totally separate, you can just go create a brand new free email account specifically for this process. Either way, you absolutely have to have an email address to activate your account and move forward. Okay, Section 3, the online application portal. We are officially at the main event. Guys, I really cannot stress this enough. Jobs.utah.gov is the one and only official mandated gateway for submitting your claim. Do not be fooled by those scammy third-party sites that try to charge you a fee. The official state portal is entirely free, it's totally secure, and frankly, it's the only place your personal information should ever go. Once you're inside the portal, you'll see the application is broken down into 6 distinct sections. You'll start with identity and eligibility checks, then move into your personal information. And after that, you'll detail your employment history for the last 18 months. Step 4 asks a few questions about your availability to work. Step 5 is where you provide a statement on exactly why you separated from your past employers. And finally, Step 6 finalizes a whole claim. One super vital tip here: the system actually locks your answers after you submit each individual section to prevent tampering, so double-check your typing for sure before you hit that next button. Next up, Section 4, Timelines and Common Mistakes. Let's talk about survival tactics. 26. That is the absolute maximum number of weeks you can receive regular unemployment benefits in Utah during a 1-year benefit period. Keep in mind, this is designed to be a temporary safety net, supporting you for a maximum of roughly 6 months while you are actively out there searching for new full-time work. Now, a very common question we see is, can I work a gig job or maybe part-time while I'm on unemployment? The answer is yes, you can. Utah has what's called an earnings disregard rule. This means you can earn up to 30% of your weekly benefit amount without it impacting your payout at all. However, any earnings you make above that 30% threshold, that's going to reduce your weekly benefits dollar for dollar. The golden rule to remember here is that you must report all gross earnings in the exact week the work was actually performed, regardless of when the paycheck finally hits your bank account. Okay, a really critical warning on this: carelessly or knowingly misreporting your earnings, failing to report that you refused a job offer, or working under the table, that officially constitutes fraud. The system actively cross-references data all the time, and if you're caught, you're going to face severe penalties. We're talking repaying the funds, heavy fines, and even potential legal action. So just be entirely truthful every single time. All right, moving into Section 5, maintaining your weekly eligibility. Basically, how to maintain your claim. Let's look at the timeline to see how this all builds. Day 1 is when you apply. From that point onward, you must file a weekly claim, ideally every single Sunday. Now, even though it generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the state to process your initial application and finally send out that first payment, you must continuously file your weekly claims during that entire waiting period. If you stop filing just because you haven't seen money yet, the system literally assumes you found a job and it will deny you payment for all those missed weeks. So this weekly filing cycle runs from Sunday morning all the way to Saturday night at 11:59 p.m. When you log in to file, you'll answer a few simple questions. Again, report any gross wages you earned. Crucially, Utah requires you to make contact with at least 4 different employers every single week you file a claim. You absolutely need to keep a detailed, accurate record of these job search contacts because the state can and will audit you at any time. And be warned, if you fail to file a weekly claim within 27 days of your last filing, your claim is going to be completely closed and you'll be stuck starting the reopening process all over again. Finally, Section 6, Resources, an important disclaimer. This is your safety net. Look, if you run into any technical glitches, or if it's been, say, 4 weeks and you haven't received a payment or a decision letter, don't panic. You can reach right out to the Claims Assistance and Reemployment Team. They're known as the CARE team. You can use the live chat feature directly on jobs.utah.gov, or you can just call them. The numbers are regional, so jot these down. It's 801-526-4400 for the Salt Lake area, 801-612-0877 for Weber and North Davis, 801-375-4067 for Utah County, and 888-848-0688 for the rest of the state or if you're filing from out of state. And finally, as we wrap up this explainer, please note, this content is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice specific to your situation. Unemployment rules can definitely be complex and highly situational, but with this structured guide, your documents in hand, and a proactive approach to your weekly claims, you are in a really strong position to secure the benefits you deserve. Yes, the system is designed to be rigorous, but now you hold the map. So what is the very first step you are going to take today to claim the safety net you've rightfully earned?